The album is it's the culmination of 10 years of working, of doing stuff by myself. Everything I've produced before has been done off my own back. I've been doing everything solo by myself, from the recording to the mixing to the mastering. So when Ginger Dog Records approached me at the end of last year and asked me to come and record this album, it felt like the next natural step forwards to have the backing and the support of a label. An amazing few months working with them. I'm so happy with how the album's come out.
When the curtain starts to fall, you're giving it your all, and you know your time has come.
It was amazing to have somebody else take charge of the stuff that I normally have to worry about myself, so I could just focus on the music and not worry about the rest of it, knowing that it's in someone's hands who, quite honestly, is a lot more capable of doing these things than what I am. In the past, I've kind of blagged my way through some very crude mastering and things like that, but to have someone behind me who knows what they're doing and can just let me focus on the music has been really sort of refreshing, and I think you can actually tell in the actual album, in the songs, how much more I'm enjoying this process of just having the freedom to work on the music and not worry about anything else. So yeah, it's been great.
In the night, please mother know he gave his life to save her, and his name won't go unknown.
Been an eye-opener of what you can actually do as a solo musician. So although a lot of the tracks you have it in your mind of how you want them to sound, when you actually start putting things together, sometimes they turn out completely different, but I'm so happy with how all these tracks have turned out, and the majority of them are kind of what I thought, but there's still 2 or 3 little curveballs in there that I didn't expect, and I don't think a lot of people who listen to it will expect, but I think they'll be pleasantly surprised. Most of the songs on there people will not have heard before. These are all brand new ones that I've never really gigged with. There's 1 or 2 old favourites in there that, if you follow me for a long time, you'll probably have heard these songs before, because there was some of the stuff that I played when I first started gigging by myself, but haven't played for a long time. So there's a few old gems on there that some people might know, but the majority of them is going to be brand new music that you've never heard before. So it's another reason why I'm excited to get it out there. My top 3 favourite songs on the album. Okay, well obviously, I mean there's a song about my little boy on there, and there's a song about my little girl, and obviously they're very, very personal, they mean a lot to me. And every time I ever sing them or play them, I always get quite emotional with them, because they mean so much to me, them songs. So they're definitely 2 of my favourites. So that's the song, one of them is named after my boy Asa, and the other is Ballerina Baby. So they're definitely 2 of the top 2, I think.
I'll help you stand. I'll help you stand. And as you walk, come take my hand, and take a big step into life. Little lady, you'll always be my ballerina baby.
There's also my first single that was released, Under the Lights, was one that I didn't expect to turn out how it did, and it turned out actually it was the last song we recorded, but it quickly turned into my favourite song on the album, I think, purely because of the way that Kevin at Ginger Dog sort of took over with the introduction of it all. It just made it so much more fuller than I ever expected, and I think once you hear it you'll understand what I'm talking about, coming from someone who just only ever plays a guitar and that's it. To have a song like this on there has been really, really fun to do, and I can't wait to play it live with the band as well, which will be really interesting. And obviously strings, I love strings. Strings just make everything that little bit more emotional, so that was good fun. But there's things on there like one of the songs we've practically got the full Salvation Army playing on it, which I did not expect. One of the songs has got like a banjo on it, and it's got a real country feel about it as well. And again, didn't expect that. I've never kind of really been a country artist, but one of the songs on there has got that little vibe going. And again, it works so well, and yeah, definitely did not expect that. The hardest question to answer is what kind of music is on the album, because there's literally everything on this album. I mean, it's the rawest album I've produced, like lyric-wise. The lyrics are, of all the songs, they're meaningful. There's a lot of sort of emotion attached to them, but there is a little bit of everything mixed in there. Like I say, we have got a song which is quite kind of country vibe, and then we have got one which has got a lot of strings, and there's even a couple of ones that sound quite poppy. So there's a little bit of everything on there, but it's still, the whole album is still based around the music that means the most to me, which is that real raw, emotional lyrics and stories behind the songs. So it's really interesting to hear what people think of this album, because it's so different to the stuff I've produced before.
Lord knows I tried.
Do you know what, growing up, I was brought up with such a diverse range of music. My parents listened to everything from, I mean, my dad was a massive fan of Kate Bush, James Taylor, Paul Simon, and my mum, you know, was a huge fan of like Bob Marley. So real kind of proper what I consider proper songwriters was what I was brought up listening to. And I think a lot of that is kind of where I go with my music, is along the same kind of lines. I like to write meaningful stuff.
See, no one ever hurt me the way you did that day.
Every song I write in a different way. It's so hard to describe. I mean, because sometimes I'll sit there and I'll play a little tune on the guitar, and then I'll think, oh, that sounds nice, and I'll put some words to it. Sometimes it's complete opposite. Sometimes I know what I want to say, and I know the words I want to say, but then I've got to put the music to it. Sometimes it just all falls together in the space of like 10 minutes. There's a lot of stuff on there. I mean, I like to write songs about things that people don't often talk about. So there's a lot of stuff about, you know, we've all been in these situations where we've had our heart broken, or something's happened to us, or you know, all stories of different sort of people and ways of life, and a lot of the time we don't talk about these things, and so I like to write songs where people can relate to that. So I like to put them in a song and really make people think with the songs that I write. Yeah, so the album artwork is an interesting one. It's my way of saying thank you. Obviously, my musical journey started about 10 years ago when I started building a following, and I started getting a few followers on Facebook, and that's where it all started for me. A lot of my music was getting about because people were sharing it on Facebook, and I went from just having a handful of followers to all of a sudden a few hundred, and then it started building and building. And I'm kind of under no illusion that if it wasn't for the people who listen and the people who follow my music career, I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to be writing these songs and record these songs. So as a thank you to the people that have followed me and people who've been part of my journey, I wanted to feature them somehow on the album, just to say, look, thanks for everything. And the way I kind of wanted to do it is I asked people to send me a selfie on Facebook, and I'll feature their face on my album cover. So we played around with it for a little bit, and we come up with this fantastic mosaic of my face, which is made up of everybody else's face who sent selfies in. So the album artwork is essentially me made up of my Facebook followers' pictures, which is really cool, and it's my way of just kind of saying thank you to those people who have supported me, who share my music, who recommend my music to other people, because those people are so important, and they're the reason I can do this today. So that was the idea behind the artwork.
Under the lights, you know I'm gonna fight.
So the album is called Photographs and Memories, and it fits in nicely with the album cover, because they're obviously photographs and memories of all the people that have followed me on my journey. There's also, it's just a little subtle link in there to one of the songs on the album which actually says the words Photographs and Memories. So that, having that little snippet on the album and then to have that as the album name is quite cool, because it's not one of the songs on there, but it does feature in there a little bit. So
yeah, that's it.